Elizabeth McCormick, former Black Hawk helicopter pilot and a member of the board of directors, Grace After Fire on Kogo. Elizabeth, thanks for being with us. Good morning.
Thanks for having me.
Get a little fired up on this. I used to live about a mile and a half from Walter Reed, and we'd go down there occasionally. I was a comedian at the time. This is in the 90s, before everything happened with 9/11 and all. And even then, it was a dump, and the way we treated our soldiers, returning soldiers, was just crap. And it's to see it and to hear that they want to expand it without fixing it, and just include women because. I don't know what's in Rangel's head. What do you take when you hear something like this, though?
I think there's two different issues, and Rangel's kind of mixing them up. Rangel served in the Korean War, so he is a veteran. He just believes that everyone should have that experience and serve, and that we'd be more cautious. There's two issues. We've opened women for combat. We want equality. We want things no discrimination based on gender. Then open it up to the selective service. Selective service being separate from what he's proposing also is to activate the draft, and where everyone serves 2 years of either civil or Peace Corps service.
Yeah, but you and I both know that 2 years serving for a government agency first of all, it's to create that new bureaucracy is going to be expensive. As far as it being efficient, would it be more efficient to have those people go into the public sector and private sector and learn how to contribute to this country in ways that really make a difference? That's my thought. I mean, we're not going to fight a ground war like we did in Korea ever again. It's just not going to happen. Our enemies are going to be uniformless, and they're going to be. It's just a new world. And the only thing Rangel brings to the new world is corruption and greed, which he's displayed in the last 3 years. Almost getting pounded out of Congress, should be in jail, and that's a whole other story. But it's a new world, and the men and women who are going to be defending this country are going to be people that are going to have life experience, education, technical skills, and the same spit and savvy that you and your others have served. And obviously, and you know this, I mean, the old chicken hawk argument and stuff about that, I don't like to go down that road. I think we're all Americans, and we all should have our same opinion regardless of whether you served or not. And I appreciate Rangel's service to this country. I do. I don't mean to belittle that. I just think that talking about the draft, when we're not treating these men and women right, when we're cutting the funding for the things they need and we promise, is just a little hypocritical.
You're the first one out of all the interviews I've done that's actually brought up the budgetary concerns.
Well, we got sequestration right around the corner, and people aren't even talking about it. Maybe it's because we live in San Diego. I got people listening to me right now that, they're worried about that. It affects their lives, it affects the jobs, it affects our community. We're a community that is about the United States. I mean, we're here on the Pacific. We got Korea, North Korea right there. I talk to people here who remember Pearl Harbor and that. I mean, so it's a little different out here on this part of the country, but I know around the country. I grew up in D.C. I know that, too. It's just there are real financial considerations to this as well. I mean, giving back to our country, you can do it in a lot of ways other than just enrolling in a government program.
I actually wrote a paper about this almost 20 years ago when I was in college. And in that paper, I had added a state-level civil service program so that they could live at home and still provide a service to the country at the state level and do the jobs that we don't have budgets to do, and to do things at a different level and just be tacked on it. When you finish school, you go straight into this. It's just like 2 more years of compulsory education.
You can do it in high school. You can do things on weekends. You know what I mean? I mean, there's ways to contribute to this country and learn. And probably the best way is to learn about the significance of your contribution throughout life and what it really does mean. It does, even though you can't see it, it has ripple effects that go forever. I wish we had more time. She's great. Elizabeth McCormick is good people. We'll get her back at some point in the future and talk.